Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to check out the green frog here, Pepe, and see what's going on. I got a lot of requests for this. We have enough data to finally make somewhat of an educated decision on which direction it might head. We're going to look at Fibonacci retracement levels based on smaller time frames, of course, because larger time frames don't really work. This is a newer ICO, of course, and keep in mind we're using the BitGet chart, and it's essentially looks like this same thing, if you will. The only difference is that on BitGet it'll say 22,762, and we'll see 22,700 exponential on this chart here. So to keep in mind, same thing roughly, I'll be paraphrasing with 22.7, 22.8, whatever the number is, instead of just reading out the whole thing. So that's what we're seeing on the charts here. Furthermore, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Definitely appreciate you joining us here. And if you want to learn something more about becoming a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a website linked down below. You can essentially become a better trader. We have discounts for third world countries, military, and students alike. Furthermore, to help us grow our Twitter community, we're trying to get up and running here. Kind of a late start, if you will. Kind of like tremendous amount of users or subscribers on YouTube, but very few on Twitter. So we've grown our Twitter space in a lot in a little while, so greatly appreciate any kind of help you could provide for us there. Again, if you find benefit here today, obviously do so. Like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards here as well. Okay, so Pepe, what do we want to talk about? Well, normally I like to look at the larger time frames and work our way down. We can't go too large because we are only a few days into this, okay? But what I can tell you is that when we look at the RSI and that MACD on the 4-hour time frame, it's not looking fantastic. And the main reason why I say that, of course, is because we just kind of flipped bearish, if you will. Okay, so what I mean here is anytime you see 50 on the RSI, it works as a support level or resistance, right? We saw previously the price came down to bounce off that support, which is roughly here at about 18.5 as a round number. So it bounced off 18.5 and essentially came up all the way up to about 36, 37. That's awesome. And then of course down back below. So now that we're below RSI at 50, that tells us we're mostly bearish and we should see some resistance, and the likelihood of creating a higher high is lower. We want to see higher lows to be able to change that pattern, but for the moment, we can expect the price to be held below this level, which would put us somewhere in the range of about 27 or lower. So 27 or lower seems more appropriate there. Now, when we look at the MACD, we're still diverging, so not a good reason to go ahead and get in at this point. I know you're thinking to yourself, well, why not buy the dip? Well, sometimes that's not always the best practice. Again, big picture, you're going to hold on to this coin for a long time, then of course, dollar cost average as it comes down. But for right now, it does feel like it might want to come down lower. We see the money flow index also coming way down. That tells us in the last 14 candlesticks here, we've seen a significant outflow of money. Basically, people selling their Pepe, right? So that's just on this exchange. Keep in mind, other exchanges could have different results, but for the most part, this is a very large exchange. It's my favorite exchange, and I can tell you we are partnered with them as well, and it's just an excellent experience. So if you do want to kind of consider some free private signals access, we got a little promotion going on right now. You get some cash back bonus, a referral bonus through them. All you got to do is use this link and you'll be eligible for every future trading competition that we offer as a community. It's a really awesome experience. So be sure to check that out. So when we take a look here at Pepe, we want to look at a few things, right? Moving averages are important. We don't have a lot of them right now because it's still early, right? So generally speaking, we're under the 20-day simple moving average. Big surprise. Once the 50 and the 200 come along, we'll probably be below those two as well. For the moment, once again, just because the price has sort of declined in the last couple of days. We take a look at the 1 hour, we can kind of see that we are establishing still lower highs and lower lows, all right? So until that changes, we can expect it to continue downwards. Now, we are getting close to an overextended state. We take a look at the RSI, we're getting close to about 30 on the RSI. That's usually a bouncing point. We look at TD sequential, we hit a 9 here recently, and now we're down to a 5. So if we hit 2 9s in TD sequential, the likelihood of a reversal is fairly high. So if we continue lower and hit another 9 here, just say we hit this level, 0.786 at about 21.2, there's a good chance we'll probably see a bounce from there, okay? So keep in mind, bouncing point it's on the horizon. We can't go too much lower for too much longer, but again, you'd be surprised. Once we lose the support level, if we do, at just say 17 is a round number, then we're going to have another conversation altogether, because then we're going to be creating basically price discovery to the downside. And that's a scary thing. We're not there yet, of course, not trying to scare you, we're just saying that is a potential reality, so we want to be mindful and remain patient until then, okay? Because a lot of coins like this can start really strong with all this hype and anticipation, and then just kind of taper off and slowly die off because larger investors made their profit, they made a killing, and they just watch you bleed out. All right, back to the 30-minute time frame here. This is something I want to kind of point out to you. If you're not familiar with Elliott wave, it's a really awesome little kind of indication of the fact that we are getting closer to the end. And what I mean by that is there's typically always a higher high, higher low, same pattern basically 3 times. So we have 3 higher highs and 2 higher lows to hit our peak. Okay, so we peaked out at about $37 for Pepe, and that was roughly on Saturday. The price action continues lower from there, and then what it does is it has an ABC pattern. Those are lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so we're still to establish our lowest low, but the lowest low should still be, in most cases, should be higher than $18. Okay, so we should be at the bottom here. This is kind of telling us that we might actually be in good shape, and this may be the bouncing point here. Again, smaller time frames give us different results because they are based on less data, right? So in essence, we have some interesting patterns the smaller time frame we go, but that is still a very positive sign nonetheless. Okay, so macro, from what it's worth, from what we can see on the 4 hour, doesn't look great. We're mostly bearish. But it doesn't imply that we couldn't still come up and bounce a little bit higher. So what we want to look for here is for the price action to come up and to create higher lows and to continue its way back up. Okay, higher lows are the first pattern reversal that we can find to identify, because as we can see here, we still have not hit any higher lows here, right? They all become lower highs. So to translate that, to make it easy, we're looking for the price action to, I would say, break above $24 to give us any kind of bullish potential here, because that would put us above the most recent high. But at the very least, if our next low isn't lower than the current price point here at about 21.25, then we're going to be in pretty good shape to probably see a bounce. Okay, so there's more likelihood than not on the smaller time frames we're going to see the price continue upwards. But in the big picture, we're probably going to face some rejection at this $27 mark, which is that common Fibonacci retracement level. You see it's 0.5 on Fibonacci. That's a very, very standard reversal point. Okay, so my anticipation here is that the price action will continue up, possibly to bounce back down. Maybe we get double bottom and then back up to retest 27. That seems more likely at this point. All right, well, if you found benefit, obviously comment, like below, all the whole 9 yards there. Again, please help us grow our Twitter community, of course, and you'll be seeing these updates and these charts consistently there as well. It's kind of a one-stop shop for everything. In fact, we have a tremendous amount of fundamental and technical data flowing through here as well daily, upwards of 50 tweets a day to kind of keep you abreast on pretty much everything you need to know. Okay, so be sure to check that out. Thanks again so much for joining me here. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great rest of your day. See you soon.